The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with your host, W.C. Fields. As always, we start off the day and we kind of check in with the market. And I'm going to take a quick look at here. 1873 on the S&P cash, which is basically flat. The Dow's down a little bit, but NASDAQ's up a bit. But for the most part, not a lot happening. Volume off about 150 million at the same time yesterday. We did come in a bit light. And I better run that and start that. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is yesterday I was looking for probably somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 billion shares on the consolidated New York Stock Exchange tape as we broke new highs. Volume was light when we talked about it in the show. Volume was light into the close. Actually got a little bit better than I thought, 3.5 billion shares. I thought maybe 3.2, 3.3, but still a good 20, 25% off of what would even be the minimum to see a breakout with a true sign of strength. Saw a lot of stocks like Tesla, some of these other big high flyers just run out of steam. Not participate. Looked at Apple. You really couldn't find anything going on that. And we're going to talk about how some of those things apply to trading, or at least the way I trade. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Anyway, as always, we like to start off the day with a little bit of history. So you know what they say. If you don't know your history, then you're destined to repeat it. On this day in 1933, President Roosevelt signals the nation's economic survival is at stake when he invokes the War Powers Act, conferred upon the presidency to take emergency action. FDR orders the nation's bank to close for the next 4 days to forestall panic and to prevent the hoarding of gold. The extended bank holiday stops the run on the banks and begins to restore public confidence. Mostly because you can't own gold anymore. So they're forcing you back into U.S.-denominated notes, as they say. And people are somewhat split on whether or not this actually made another 5 years of it fixed it in the short run, but in the long run added another 5 years to a already sickening depression. And, of course, we only came out of it with 70 million lives and World War II later. So, and, of course, no one blew anything up really to speak of on our side of the pond. And we were left whole when a great deal of the, at least first world nations, were reduced to rubble and probably still burning late into 1946. But we always learn something. But, of course, a great deal of what we are seeing in economic policy today is Ben Bernanke's review of that time. He only thought that we didn't spend enough. And, of course, there's no previous time when we tried this. So we are a living experiment of Ben Bernanke's, even though he's busy taking $500,000 for a 1-hour speech in Dubai today. But I digress. And, of course, we've won so many digressing awards in the past that I'm going to have to add new shelves for more digressing awards. The #1 digresser in Tampa last year. Hands down, no one even comes close. Anyway, it is a gorgeous day down here. If you're still up north, still time to get on that plane and make it down to Tampa and hit the beach, because I'll guarantee you this is the kind of day that you live for especially when I was up north, I would die for. And of course, we check in with what's happening in the Eurozone. Most of these countries were off at least a little bit. Spain was up, Portugal, some of these second-tier countries, the ones I always look at, France, Germany, and the UK, all down today. And just a little bit of, I would think, exhaustion. In fact, we'll talk about exhaustion moves today. I had a question in email, and of course you can email me at TFNN, at path@tfnn.com. And one of the questions was one of the positions, and I think it was going to close probably 10 cents, I think, underneath the suggested stop. I put out mostly around 3:30 or a little sooner, a little later sometimes, a update of the positions I have in my newsletter for the daily newsletter. And I early on, probably 2001, 2002, the whole poker thing really took off. No limit poker, whole Texas Hold'em, and why gambling was not legal in any of the states I've lived in. And I never played for big money professional poker. I have watched a lot of people on TV. And one of the first things I noticed was all the same guys ending up at the tables. Statistically, very hard to figure out how that would ever happen. Luck has a great deal to do with what happens in especially no-limit poker, especially when you have huge fields of people, 4,500 people playing down to a table of 9 at the very end. But I thought it was interesting. I started playing a little bit at bars at night. You could go in and as long as you ordered something, play. And in fact, you could still do that. I just kind of gotten bored with it. But one of the first things I noticed was this guy named David Sklansky. And he did a lot of other things besides play poker. In fact, he doesn't play very often. But this guy would just come in and clean house, almost a Rain Man-like savant when we talk about being able to understand the odds of every poker hand. But up to this point, I hadn't done a lot of research in the whole area of game theory. Game theory tends to, in fact, I'll look it up during the break on Wikipedia because they've got a great description of it. But basically, it is the whole idea of playing the other guy's hand. And how you can do it. If you're watching on Tiger TV now, I have the book. As a trader, I highly recommend it because it's probably the best description of game theory applied to the real world. A lot of people hear game theory and go, I can't understand that at all. But poker is unique and probably the best analog for trading because, one, luck has some element in it. It's not, you don't know everything. If you play chess, everybody knows what the other person has all the time. That's in basically game theory called equal knowledge. Both people or all the people at a poker table have and know what's in their hand. The whole game is trying to figure out what they have in their hand by the way they play it. So if we see a stock market coming up, I kind of think of it as additional knowledge. If there's one thing that's called slow playing, if they're showing this on TFNN in the den or anything right now, you should see it. But it's called slow playing, and the idea is that let's say there's 5 people sitting at a card table and you're all playing. The dealer deals you aces now. No one else gets to see them. You have the best possible hand as you start to play. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. One, you can start betting a whole lot because you have a great hand. The other idea is that since you have the best hand, you will just kind of limp in. You won't act like you've got a real strong hand. And interesting idea of how often you should do that. But most of the time, you take a really good hand and you make it a poor hand. And this thing is really it's a well-written book, so I'm not going to try to duplicate it. But there are some real key elements to understanding that the knowledge you have while you're in the trade gives you an idea of how you may change and what you might do. If I have something that's close, like this position yesterday, that I think was like a dime off my close, but the volume was way too light, that I thought we had an exhaustion move in the markets, pretty much being borne out in what we see today. Not a great deal of movement. You can really look at a market that may say that maybe you should go a little bit farther on. If you were playing poker and someone was slow playing you, and then all of a sudden they start betting heavily late in the game, you may suspect that they had aces. But guess what? You had kings, and an extra king came on one of the plays during the game. If you don't know much about no limit or Texas Hold'em poker, you get two cards, then they allow everybody to bet. You then get another card, everybody bets. You get another card, everybody bets. You get another card, everybody bets. Now, everybody can fold, and if you had those two aces, maybe the best thing is to bet hard and early and scare everybody out of the hand and take the cash, because your greatest hand can turn to crap in a matter of seconds. So the idea of putting in some kind of stop at the very beginning of the hand really doesn't apply, because you're going to gain knowledge by the way that the other players play their hand. And, if somebody tries to push a stock, and like yesterday, I had a stock that was trading 1.5 million shares. It was 2 hours into the trading day, and you couldn't get 70,000 shares as they were pushing the stock up. Pretty sure this thing's going to crack, and it's going to crack soon. So I'm willing to sit on the sideline and maybe give a little extra rope on those plays. If I would have seen 4.5, 4.8, 5 billion shares yesterday, I'll guarantee you I would have been out so fast that your head would have spun. And we're going to talk about implied odds when we come back.
If you're new to TFNN, then you've probably heard some of our hosts and traders talk about the exciting charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. Tuesday, March 11th at 6:30 p.m., Dave White and Tom O'Brien will be hosting a live study session for anyone with a subscription to this exciting charting program. During this hour-long online workshop, Dave and Tom will lead a brief presentation along with taking questions from those that attend. Right now, we have a great deal for all new subscribers. You can sign up for the Art of Timing the Trade Charts and get your first entire month for only $1 while gaining access to this live event with Tom O'Brien and Dave White. For more information on how this exciting charting program works, you can click on the Charts button on the front page of TFNN.com today and check out some of the videos that walk you through a variety of the features included. Sign up now by taking advantage of this exciting offer for just $1 before it's too late. Visit TFNN.com today.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the signal box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we got a market that's flat, not really moving. And, of course, we'll check in on the volume at the bottom of the hour. But it is light and not seeing a lot of movement. I think we're probably not going to see anybody show their hands, since we're talking about poker today, probably till close to the end of the day. Somebody made a comment, Pete D, who says, I'm sure game theory is being used in the Ukraine crisis right now. And if you remember, in 2001, there was a movie that was called A Beautiful Mind. It is the story of John Nash, who, after a lot of mental issues, won the Nobel Prize for his work that is actually used in almost all of inter-country discussions, can we say. But he basically did the math behind it all, and it's kind of shown obliquely. Of course, he was about half insane, just like most brilliant people, but understood at least one thing specifically very well. But there's a lot to game theory, and part of what I would like to impart today is that when you start out your trade, you're going to gain knowledge, just like when you're playing a poker hand. And as you gain knowledge, you can say, hey, why should I wait for my stop? I know I'm wrong now. Or I'm at my stop, but the volume's half. Maybe I should actually give it a little bit more. In a poker hand, you can come down to the very last card, and someone can bet, well, let's just give any round number, $10. Now, maybe your odds of winning the pot are, let's say that they're maybe 25% or something. If the bet isn't as big as the money you can win, you might actually, even if your chances of only winning are 25%, still be better off calling, even if you're only going to win one out of 4 times. Those are called pot odds. And it's he goes into such great detail. Like I said, even if you're never going to play poker, this is probably the single best book to understand game theory and used in something that is close to what we do in trading. You'd be surprised how many really good stock traders are also poker players. In fact, they have a big poker tournament in New York every year, and David Ihorn almost always walks away. He's won several really big tournaments too. And the whole idea of making decisions and understanding the odds are always something you should do. And if you see David Skolansky, I don't know, I haven't watched a lot of the poker tournaments anymore on television. Maybe they're on there, maybe they're not. Of course, during the big online poker game boom, they were everywhere. But I'd see David Skolansky, instead of where all these guys would be in tournaments every single week somewhere, he'd come out about every 3 months, and he'd be in third position, second position, make a lot of cash. Sometimes he even won a couple of years just being in 4 tournaments. Of course, most of those tournaments, you walk in and you pay $10,000 and kiss your money goodbye. Hopefully, you're going to play well, at least at that high level. But this guy would come in every time, and for grins, the commentators would always ask him what the odds were, and he knew them intrinsically within probably 0.25%. Most people that play poker learn and develop almost a second nature of always knowing what are the odds of them. Now, probably not as easy in the stock market, but a great idea of what works well and why most of the people that are very good at playing poker are also very good at trading stocks. The kind of decision making that goes on. I recommend, I don't recommend that you gamble. I do recommend you understand how to play something like limit or no limit poker, and read this book. I think it was mind altering to me, and it's a value in actually trading. Anyway, we're going to get to stocks here in the second part of the show. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, gonna take a quick check of the markets. Not moving much, but did want to look at the volume. 1872, 1873, let's call it 2.3 billion shares. So another day where we're up here at these highs. Volume really not streaming in. A little bit better than I thought maybe it would be, but it's going to be far short from anything like 4.5, at even a minimum, to give a sign of strength up here at the top. So we'll have to see how things are going. But I just don't see a lot of juice left in this market. Several stocks. We're going to look at some of those before the end of the day. But just checking out there, 2.3 billion, just under 2.3 billion shares. What else do we have? Oh, had a call yesterday before we get into the stocks. And I did want to bring this up. There are seasonal charts. I've brought it up from time to time. It's actually called seasonalcharts.com, and it shows sectors in the market over a variety of years. But you can actually go to it. There's energy, and you can go to a natural gas and see the seasonality of charts. Now, one of the things I did want to point out when people were talking about shorting natural gas, in fact, let me blow this up a little bit here so you can see it. That should be good. One of the things that we talked about was that maybe it's just a little early to see the end of the high of natural gas. And if you watch this, even though this is like over 15 years through 2007. Yeah, it was 2007. Natural gas has, of course, as the winter gets colder, people run out of coal or need additional power generation or additional heat. Pretty much peaks somewhere about mid-April. Now, not saying it is exactly what we're looking at, but you can check this chart out. It's on the web. I can only do so much. Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, that's the whole page out here. If you ever want any of these links too, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. I'll be glad to send you the URLs and links. In fact, I'll post this in the den right now in case anybody was looking. Anyway, for a number of years, natural gas has always done well late in the season, a lot longer than you think it would. Of course, we're into the very early parts of March. I don't know if there's a lot left in the tank. I would just say that probably closer to April is a better chance to short than right now, as we might even go a little higher. But my guess is we'll probably hit the highs of natural gas. But I think what you're watching for or looking for is some kind of spike, maybe the 1st of April. Maybe it's going to happen a little earlier this year. But some kind of spike, and pull the trigger on natural gas short then. But over a number of years, when, what is it? I think it's over 15 years. Now, again, this goes back to 2007, but I don't think there's a lot of change seasonally. I went when I saw this website, I did go back and look at a lot of those charts, and I have emailed the gentleman that runs it, and he says why he hadn't updated the charts. Basically, this pattern of seasonality, at least in natural gas, and the pretty much applies. So you might think about that before we start going whole hog short on natural gas. I'm just thinking maybe you need to wait for the whites of their eyes. Now, probably the big movers out here today, since most stuff is not moving, is the solar stocks. Canadian Solar, CSIQ, one of my favorite stocks, mostly because this is the stock I bought in the March 2009 lows at $3. I loved this stock because, if I remember right, it had made a low with 2.5 million shares about 3 months before, or 4 months before that 2000 March 9 lows in the marketplace, and came back and tested it. And if I remember right, it's like 300,000 shares or something. And I picked 4 stocks to go long in that March 5th, March 9th time frame. This was one of them, and I think I sold it out way too early, but I think it ran right up to $14. Of course, a lot of stocks like that, if you can just find huge lows in the markets, generational lows, like we saw in 2009, and look for just infinitesimal energy at the lows. Well, energy not all that different up at the highs, but what I could see for most of the time off the last low in CSIQ and most of the other stocks, there wasn't a lot of new energy coming back in. You had a big run from 26.10 on December 10th up to 43.60. Mostly, from everything I looked at, there was absolutely nothing that justified that run, nor the last run from 33.80 from February 5th up to this high. They came out and basically said, hey, we're not selling anything. We're guiding down. Things are rough. And in fact, they're not the only company. I can't remember the other one today. It was a Chinese company basically saying they weren't in the solar cell industry, saying that they weren't going to be able to pay an interest payment on some loan that they had. But big move out here for one of these high flyers. Really didn't. I am short solar stocks in general, not short this particular stock, just because most of them have far too high of short interest. But very interesting stock out here, but blowing apart, which makes me think that we've got a good chance today of seeing that February 5th low at 33.10 come into play. I also think, at least in this particular sector, that you should be aware of a couple of things. I'm at least thinking it is true. I think that there's a good chance that even if the House, the Senate does not change hands, it's going to be close enough that most of the subsidies for these companies are probably going to be cut down to the bone, if at any. And, of course, all these companies would only make money if there was a subsidy by the government. China is talking about cutting their subsidies also. Certainly, Germany's cut their subsidies down. I suspect in the next round of budget cuts, now that Merkel is firmly ensconced, she will probably see the end of the rest of the subsidies for these solar companies. And again, there's not too many industries out here that can say that our product is 3-4 times more expensive than nuclear or coal-powered electricity, that you can only use it during the day, only use it during the season when the sun's out and when it's not really cloudy. Just not ready, in my opinion, not ready for prime time. It's a great political statement, but maybe you could make some money if you're the last buggy whip manufacturer. But I suspect that we're probably going to see maybe 10% of these solar cell companies make it, unless there is a dramatic change in what the quality of the power that these companies can produce, and drop the price rapidly. They're just it's the technology. Most of it is chemistry, is just not moving along. And I suspect instead of putting money into subsidies and getting people to buy solar, those subsidies should be in research and development, making better solar cells that could compete in the market. But I mean, when you look at the cost of producing electricity, nuclear power is the absolute cheapest. About 30% higher is coal, and then you get up to about 70% more expensive for natural gas, and it just goes up from there. But anyway, CSIQ just getting hammered today. I wanted to look at some of the rest of the solar stocks, and of course you can give me a call at 877-927-6648, or if you want to look at a stock, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. Anyway, First Solar, certainly this one is making a nice little test of its previous high from just a few days ago on February 24th. You had 4.1 million shares. This thing making a nice little doji out here with 2.8 million shares. And, of course, this is the sector that has shown all these. Some of the other stocks that are off in sympathy with CSIQ today is JASO. Now, this one actually had higher volume but could not hold the high of January 9th. You had $10.66, 2.6 million shares. This thing did go above it, but couldn't even hold it that day. Tried again yesterday to push back up through that high. The reversal out here today. One of the things that you did see that I will point out in some of these stocks is a higher volume low that didn't even test the previous low. In this case, what you have to look at is the December 12th low, and that was at $8.18 with 1.8 million shares. Got within, 17 cents of that on February 5th with 2.2 million shares, but that's not the way you want to see those lows tested. You want to see it come in lighter. You'd like to see it pierce it and give you a buy signal. You didn't get that. You just got a more run-up out here. And I don't suspect the story is different from many of these solar companies than it is for CSIQ. IQ. Jinko Solar, JKS, is another one. This one did have some decent volume back into the down move that started on the 22nd of January. This thing actually did come down with 4.5 million shares on the 24th. It's come back up there, shot through that. Again, a lot of these stocks, pretty high short interest. And I think we saw a lot of the shorts cover yesterday. A little bit of pullback out here today. LDK, oh, no, let's get rid of that one. SCTY, Solar City. This is a company that at least a couple of people in the den really like. I don't, if I was thinking about doing it, I'd probably call them up too and try to get my neighbors to all pay to have solar on my house because you get a huge subsidy. Again, the only way that this makes any sense. But pretty much the same kind of thing we see in Solar City. And that is at least decent volume off here. And, of course, let's actually get a smaller version of this out here. You actually had 7.4 million shares on January 17th at 79.86. You had 12 million shares as you went into that high. The next day, 9 million shares. So you had volume as you went through these highs. But just 3-4 short days later, we are back into that trading range. So these stocks are fairly good at bucking shorts out at the highs. But again, they may be betting a lot of money just at the very end where these markets are starting to turn. Renee Solar, SOL. And we were talking about bad ticker symbols. I just thought about this one. I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. But SOL, you just don't want to see this stock go bankrupt because the jokes will never end. Anyway, Renee Solar, SOL, a little bit off the volume, not a whole lot in this thing so far. And, of course, I don't know if one bad earnings call is going to change a lot of people's minds. But certainly it is interesting. Trina Solar, TSL, another one up here today. And, you had some nice volume into yesterday. No follow-through today. We're going back into where there was some volume, 6.2 million shares, up to $17.25. But I think you're getting a couple of dojis, a little bit of reversal out here, not much volume yet. But I'd be watching these stocks the next few days. And, of course, Yidling Green Energy Holding Company, the Chinese solar company, down on fairly modest volume, but not a lot to show out there. Anyway, we're going to go through some other stocks to wrap up the show. And I think I got some mail, and we will take a look at it. Be back in just a minute.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days, unconditionally, so there's no risk to you, other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're looking at ExxonMobil XOM today. This is one that's down. Volume not all that exciting just yet, but certainly looks like this thing's going to drift down a little bit. It's already into the candle of the 14th of February. You had some decent up volume on that. What's the low of the day out there? 91.60. I think you could probably see that. But they certainly are talking about flat output in 2014, spending to drop 6%. They're going to try to do everything they can do to cut CapEx and keep this thing going, but certainly the market's not taking a bright view of what they're talking about, but it looks like a lot of things that Andy talks about on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Looks like these stocks are starting to get a little bit weaker, and you could have a nice ABC down. I think we're probably fairly close to watching the break in crude. Somebody in the den posted something out here that the Arab states had a stormy meeting. I did see where the Saudi Arabia wants to buy their own nuclear weapons. They do not like the fact that we are cutting our military to less than pre-World War II levels for, I don't know if it's always that stormy. But pre-war levels, and since we couldn't fight a war today on two fronts, They're thinking that if Iran has a nuclear weapon, they're going to need some too. And I think a lot of people are talking about whether or not Iran's going to be led to run roughshod over the Mideast. But someone's always storming out. That's true. In fact, I remember in the movie, I always loved it, Lawrence of Arabia. He always said that there are no Arabs. They're just everybody fighting each other. But very interesting. Anyway, that was one of the stocks I wanted to look at. And let's see what else we had out here. There were a couple others that were interesting to me. Certainly, this stock just seems like it won't quit. Of course, it's in the right sector right now, and that is FireEye, F-E-Y-E. Let's see if I can get it here. There we go. This thing up. You'd like to see a lot more volume on this thing. It's probably the only thing I dislike. But they just had a target raised, and I think that there are a lot of people short the stock too, and good excuse, good day to run. One of the things I'd like to bring up before the end of the show is whether a stock hits 90 or 900. There is a massive statistical ratio of once you get into the 90s that you're going to hit 100. That if you get into 900, you're going to hit 1,000. And I don't know many stocks in 9,000 that would hit 10,000, but I would imagine that it would hold. I just don't know about it. Probably not that many, maybe Berkshire Hathaway stock. But certainly I've done studies in the past where you do see these stocks hit $90. And I don't know if it's the whole U.S. mindset of figuring out that if something's 99 cents, it seems to us a whole lot less than $1. So until it hits that magic century mark, we just don't think about it. There's a lot of psychology, I suspect, in that. But my guess is that, like most of these stocks, there's a 90% chance this thing hits 100 before it pulls back. Anyway, remember to sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.